ready to dial out. So in the new year, things get clearer, things get more compact, and I hope you can hear me crystal clear with clarity, volume, presence, and depth. This is the service that is here for the human race throughout the galaxy and anywhere else to transmit the signal. This are the facts that we are relaying to you. Now, since I'm in the mood, the theory is that the human race has lost the capacity to link through the root chakra, hence all chakras in connection with the earth. Grounding is a nice effort, but grounding isn't enough. To reconnect and ground your system is also align your body with the magnetics of the earth, the natural magnetics. As in, you walk on earth, the lower parts in your feet you discharge, and the higher parts of your body you charge and reboot, and that all the time. With insulators such as sneakers, boots, everything made out of rubber, you disconnect that. You can bring partially the magnetic relay connection to this planet back by wearing magnetic soles that have a certain Gauss level, that at least the magnetic field of your boot is expanded back to the planet. The ideal discharge and recharge and reboot system is at the beach, 20 minutes, barefoot in the sand, in the ocean, electrolytically, atomically, on all levels, photonically and negative ions, ionically, you'll be actually reset up to a year. Electromagnetic reset will last up to a year by being at a beach. Hawaii, preferably. The ideal fields for healing we have found out one can be is Mount Shasta, Hawaii, Sedona, Niagara Falls, and the King's Chamber. They both have the same energy spectrum and somewhat roughly magnetic anomalies in the same range. That is through observation. So also say you don't have to believe anything that I say. Do your own research, read reports, write-ups, experiments. You know, there are people out there with instruments that go measure and film what they measure, and by that I go. And I've tested it myself by visiting these spots, these spaces. Also been to Egypt to confirm that this is really the case. Not just by instrumentation, also by feeling. So here's what we suggest, and that is for all. The magnetic alignment, if you want to go into avatar mode and reactivate yourself, you need to have a magnetic pad. And as an example, a company called Magnetico. I'm not working for them, I've never got any product for them, but it makes sense what they say is you start with 5 Gauss and you can boost up the level. It's a pad, it's not the cheapest. If you know about magnetics, I think you can attempt to build it for yourself. For yourself. So the idea is to have 7 Gauss under your bed. You are 4 to 5 inches above the magnetic field, so you're staying in the negative field. Unifield, North Pole up. So it's a unipole. Not omnidirectional, it's unidirectional. So you want all North Pole in field up. Not all companies do that, so do your own investigations with that. If you have omnidirectional, you can get it sick as a dog because it's, you know, it confuses the wazoo out of you. So the idea is the ideal living for the human race to wake up naturally would be a magnetic pad, a Faraday cage, as in a canopy that is, how do you say, an EMF shielder and blocker, meaning that your cell phone wouldn't work in that Faraday cage or room. You can also use paint. That no cell tower, no satellite imaging, a military communication, none of that stuff will go through your house. Naturally, wherever you live, that stuff will all that cosmic energy is running through your house. There was a professor named Dr. Kozriev. He invented the Kozriev mirror. Investigate, read. He realized that if you surround you in a spiral with a stainless steel type wall and disconnects you from Earth's magnetic your psyche improves by 400%. Like where it doesn't even matter what you believe, you will hear voices, you hear other people, so you will be psychically able to tune in. Out-of-body experience, if you sleep in the Kozyrev tubes, they're like perfectly shielded tubes, you will have experiences that will just blow your mind. And that is basically metaphysical training of being in an avatar state, as in, you can say equivalent to a psychedelic state, as in a high where your brain begins to synchronize, but it can only synchronize when you get to hear the signal of your own heart frequency. It's like a ping. When you get to hear that, it's just you being reflected. In that moment, you begin to grow. Now, of course, it's hard for us living in square lodges, as natives would call it, on unholy grounds. Most cities are haunted. I had my own experience in Germany 15 years ago, where I could see World War II hauntings, like the streets is packed with spirits that are still trying to find their way home. So there's lots of work to be done to get psychic and clean up the mess. War grounds in the desert where they're still fighting, they're still in the battlefield, and they don't understand that the party is over, they can actually go home. So genetically we are here to heal that memory and remember who we are, and fully to do that. But not everybody can build a pyramid, but we need to build a construct where the body is magnetically able to align. Understand the Gauss field of this planet is 0.4. It dropped. It'll probably go even weaker. That's how the magnetic field has already collapsed. So to tell you how powerful that is, they did a test with fish in a tank, and they used electromagnetic, like magnets that would run with electricity, so they increased the Gauss field. So they went back, I think like 300 Gauss, if I'm not wrong, increasing the magnetic field how it was 150 million years ago. Now imagine why magic and magical powers, telekinesis and all that stuff must have been very, very powerful. First of all, the planet was in alignment. The magnetic field was so high you probably won't make it for all the stuff that will be revealed if you experience 300 Gauss right now. So they did that with the fish in the tank, 300 Gauss. They gave them a magnetic environment how it was 150 million years ago. So these fish laid eggs, had kids that were 2 to 3 times stronger, genetically built a little bit different, more powerful, greater, more efficient, and probably more psychic. Now imagine humans, what will happen to our chromosomes when the magnetic field is pumped to that level. You have a level of a shielding and a protection and metaphysical infusion taking place that you probably have more chromosomes. More chromosomes meaning you will be bigger. So I believe we turned into a smaller species because the magnetic field dropped. And the magnetic field has also something to do with the drop of consciousness. So I'm attempting to buy a tanning booth. We'll take all the pipes out, bring the magnetic alignment in that booth, paint it with EMF shielding, stuff that NASA uses for their cockpits. Magnetically and ionically align you and seal you in this thing. From the experience that I've seen with people just dealing with little magnets, the healing is going to be increased, detox is going to be increased. I will also show that I've built a 7 Gauss level magnetic aligned Arcturian brain tuner helmet, and we'll experiment that and report on the experiment, what's actually happening to me as I'm using this device. And then we can have devices in our homes to actually, reboot and tune back to what's needed. As in, you've seen in the movie Stargate, when the so-called gods, as in the Anunnakis, needed to repair themselves. They needed their technology to keep their body rejuvenated. They went back into their sarcophagus. So that myth, traumatized and expanded in a Hollywood construct, shows you that back in the days it must have been so. Which also brings me to, these 1,000 and 2,000 ton heavy sarcophagus, tomb-like things were probably for big beings that were very, very strong, that can move the lid. Like a lid that's 4 or 5 tons, no human would be able to move that. And some lids were moved. Who knows? Maybe somebody climbed back out and said, "Okay, I'm done here. You know, we're done with Earth. Everybody's leaving." I seen an artifact that a guy found in Mexico that I held in my hand at a contact in the desert, where I can see the Tikal pyramids. I saw the ships, and it's like they came back and they took their own, and they took everybody from ancient chambers, hidden tombs. Everybody was taken. So the energy that used to be on Earth is no longer here. So basically, magnetize your bed, have a magnetic pad, have the photonic material, like the energy that I create with the keys is part of that, to negatively ionize and atomically structure the body according to a higher dimensional field. And in the ascension process, we still have to build that to create that. The Bible talks about city of light. Basically, the bed of the city is magnetite, so it's magnetically aligned. It's amplified. It's very strong, and the homes are built out of hempcrete mixed with photonic sand and crystalline substance that's photonically aligned. So how can you do that at home? How can you biohack? Get a magnetic pad, or build one if you don't have the money. Get photonic devices such as, I'm building that also, like for the entire room or an entire house. Get a canopy that is a copper mesh, that is like a Faraday cage that shields you from EMF, and you'll be mind blown how your body begins to develop, readjust, and realigns to things that actually are in its nature. That's why people can't spend the night in a pyramid, because you're living in a city, your magnetic level is out the window, you're being hit. Your pineal gland is on defense all day, every day. You have electricity in your home. So even when you see people that say that have water devices and they have an electric pump in the same water device, you're bombarding the water with 60 hertz. You can't structure or enhance water into a better quality if you use electricity that's based on 60 hertz, also based on the parasitic system. You need a free running system for some time. We will not call it free energy, we'll call it energy efficient, and you're much closer. So magnetic pad, start with 5 Gauss, but you can't take more. Have my Jedi keys or bigger devices. Sometimes I build artistic devices like for an entire house, just bigger, and have it under your bed. Have the canopy hanging over your bed, if your partner allows that, or if you're living in a situation where you can actually build that. And then just watch. Your OBE is going to be much better, your dream recall is going to be much better, your diet is going to change. Your body begins to realign in your reboot process, and this is where the repair takes place, is when you go into dream state. And to go into dream state, you need deep REM phases. So they looked at natives that are healthy, where the 85-year-old grandpa climbs the tree with a rope, like it's friggin' Olympics. And we wither in the big cities, we age. Is also that because they sleep on the ground, and that's their life, and their magnetic alignment is totally different, they have up to 4 REM phases in their sleep. So much better repair and reboot systems running when you're asleep. Western civilizations, if any, you have 1 REM phase, rapid eye movement. When you're in there, you're rebooting, you're repairing, you lucid dreaming, you're out, and that's when your body can actually release DMT. Methyl groups are actually, and you have to Google that, what methyl groups are. Dimethyltryptamine is not just a trip, be on a trip. Methyl groups without divisions are like ointments for your organic structure. You need that to repair. So if your maintenance at night is not 100%. Guess what? You age quicker. You know, with your eyesight at some point goes sideways, and you will have problems when you get older. When you have that aligned and you take care of you in that department, you probably also lose gray hair. So a rejuvenation cream is not going to do the job. You need to set up an environment that your body can feed on. Also, if you want to have offspring that are better equipped, such as indigo, rainbow crystal and all that, and you want to channel that in, well, then live in such an environment that you can actually create the genetic information for your offspring to create. And you'll have kids that will be bigger than you, stronger than you, smarter than you, more psychic than you. And as Earth goes into the ascension process, that will eventually happen anyway. But you could biohack your systems. I'm also building photonic plates. I've tested that you can put in your fridge, and the stuff in your fridge lasts a little longer. And you're beating the 60 hertz that you're bombarding your food with in the fridge, because the worst EMF place in your house is what? The refrigerator. So you want to shield that. You know, put magnets in. And if you're dealing with magnets, please no neodymium. That's industrial. You got to deal with ferrite, meaning ceramic magnets. They are black. That help in that department. So I'm working on this. I will present the helmet in another video where you will see what I'll do. And then I most certainly, after what I've given you, see you on the flip side.